Hello and welcome to Art with Anna. Today we will be talking about a conceptual artist and a little bit about what conceptual art is, because that's something I think we haven't touched on yet in Art with Anna. And the artist that we'll be focusing on today is John Baldessari and some of his conceptual art. So while we think a little bit about him, let's gather our supplies and we'll get started. We will need magazines, brightly colored paper, scissors, garage sale stickers, and some glue. All right, so John Baldessari is an American artist. He kind of started making art in the 60s, and between the 60s and 80s he was really painting kind of traditionally, and he wasn't getting any art shows. No one was buying his art, so he decided to go to a crematorium, throw all of his art in the crematorium and burn it. He cremated all of his art. And for him, this idea was that he was gonna start fresh, start over, be reborn. And he kept all 4 boxes of his ashes of the ashes of his art till he died. But this was kind of the start of his exploration of conceptual art, or art that is more about the idea and less about the final product. So that was kind of his start. Since then, he started making art that was this new idea about being about ideas and not the end result. One of his most famous and kind of earliest forms of this art was his art called Pure Beauty. And it's right here. Just a white canvas with black words that just says Pure Beauty. Now this is one of those things where you look at and you're like, I could have done that. And that's kind of the point of this type of art is, again, it's not how it looks in the end, but it's what it makes you think about, or the idea behind it. So this art is trying to take the most simple piece of art you can make, and it kind of makes you think about just the words, pure beauty, and what that means. What does pure beauty mean? What does beauty in art mean? Makes you kind of think. It's more about the idea than the actual final product. So that's kind of his beginnings, but let's take a look at what he's most famous for and what we will be focusing on today. So John had collected a bunch of news articles, old news articles from newspapers of different events like ribbon cuttings and gallery openings, or different speeches done by different politicians, just a bunch of different newspaper pictures from the past that were black and white. And he'd kept them for a long time and was kind of getting sick and tired of looking at the people in them, because he was looking at it wondering, what am I going to do with these? What am I going to do with these? He had just had a garage sale or a sale of some sort and had these colored dot stickers that you put on the art, or put on your items. It tells you how much they sell for. And he started just placing them over the faces of the people in the pictures. And what he realized was, when you look at these pictures, typically you're looking at their faces, but when you cover their faces, you're actually thinking more about what was happening around them, what the event was that they were at, instead of the people. You think about more what's happening in the picture and less who the picture is about. So that's something that he is really famous for, and here's some examples of these. So this is what we'll be making today. Our first step is going to be looking through magazines and finding images of people interacting with each other and just doing something interesting that interests you. So you're gonna pick a picture out of the magazine, rip it out, and decide what they're doing interests you. And I'm gonna give you a few minutes to do that, and then we'll catch back up and I'll talk to you about the next steps. All right, so once you've picked a picture that interests you and it's got people in it, we're gonna take a look at it. So I have picked 2 different pieces from the magazine. One is this perfume ad, which I like because it smells pretty good, but this perfume ad. So in this ad, we have a model, and she's holding up this giant bottle of perfume. And what I want to do is take a look at what the kind of main focal points are that you're seeing when you look at this or your magazine picture? What are the things that your eye is drawn to the most? And I will say that first it is her like expression of excitement and happiness. My eye goes straight kind of toward her face. Then second, my eye goes to the giant bottle of perfume. So what I've taken from this ad is the two main focal points are her excitement for the perfume. So those are going to be the two things that I'm going to want to cover up. We kind of want to change what this ad is about, what this picture is about. So we're going to get rid of those two focal points and then have to think about what the new focal point is in the picture when those are covered up. So I'm going to have you pick out 1, 2, 3, however many pictures that you want, and you're going to do the same thing. The second one I picked is kind of this like 1920s artsy photograph, and definitely the people's faces are what's the most eye-catching in this. But I think once those are covered up, you'll really notice the background of the image, because the background's quite involved. Even though you first really look at the people and their interaction with each other, I think when we kind of eliminate the ability to look at them, the background will really shine. So I'm going to take some time to cut out some circles. I am going to do my best to get some stickers for you guys, so you can just use those. And I also want to show you this picture that John made. And this one has this classic people's faces covered up. But in this photo, it's also kind of about the paintings that they're holding. So he also covers up the paintings. They're another focal point, he thinks, of that image. So now it's more about people being together, sharing art, and it's not about who the people are or what the art is, but it's just about people being together sharing beautiful art. We don't know who the artist is because we can't see their face, and we don't know what artwork it is. It could be terrible, but we don't know. We just get to see kind of their body language and their interaction with each other that way. So that's how he's kind of changed this artwork into something new. And again, he's trying to make you think more than he's trying to make you see the beauty of what is in front of you, and that's what conceptual art is really about. So let's either cut out some circles or have some circle stickers, and let's block out the faces and then anything else that you think is a focal point in your art piece. So let's take some time to do that. So John ended up dying when he was 88 years old. People kind of thought of him as a friendly giant. He was really, really tall at 6'7", and he also always had, when he was older, had long white hair and a white beard, but for a lot of his life had long hair and a long beard. And when he was asked what he thinks he'll be most known for, he did say putting dots on paper, which I think he always had kind of a good sense of humor. So his art is also supposed to kind of make you like think it's kind of a little silly, but also make you think about why it's silly and think a little deeper than just being funny. All right, so I have added my paper and stickers to this sheet. The light's sticking through the back, but I have covered up her face because that facial expression was something that I thought was kind of a focal point. And then I've also covered up what she was holding. I decided also with my stickers to cover up what this was about, and the perfume was called Wonderlust, and I just left the word wonder because I felt like maybe people would kind of wonder what she's holding, wonder what her facial expression is. And I think now this piece of artwork is more about the colors, the way that the blues kind of interact with the pinks, the reds, and the yellow. It's kind of a fun color combination, and since we don't know much else. I think that's kind of what this art piece ends up being about. Changed a little bit. The other one is right here. Is kind of two people embracing, and I think you notice kind of how they're holding each other more now, that you're not looking at their faces, but then you also kind of notice that they're on some draped fabric, and then there's this wild, wild background. So it makes you kind of think what was going on in this scene, what this was about. I think it also makes me think about kind of the style of photography, and makes me wonder kind of when that photo was taken. Maybe the 1920s or 30s is what it kind of reminds me of. So this idea that we are changing artwork that already exists to be something new is also a very conceptual idea. Taking something that someone else has done but giving it a whole new lease on life by giving it a whole new meaning is another thing that John was really well known for. So I think that's all for today. I can't wait to see what you guys made out of these. I hope you have fun looking through the magazines and kind of deciding which picture you would like to use for yours in specific. Yeah, that's all I've got for today. I will see you guys next week, and until then, I guess bye.